Welcome to Women's Brew, where women talk about beer. In today's episode, we have been granted exclusive backstage access to an epic collaboration brew day. I'm Joanne, and this is Tori.
Hello.
And we're two beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us!
So, what are we doing today?
Right, so I've snuck up to Reading, and look, we're in person. We're in person again. This is madness. And we are going to go visit Elusive, because that's just down the road from Tori here. And while we are there, they are doing a brew day. That's what breweries do. Nothing crazy exciting about that. No, they're just making a bit of beer. However,
They're brewing with emperors.
They're brewing with emperors, and we have been allowed to go and see their brew day. So we're going to have a little chat to them. We're going to talk to emperors, talk to Elusive, see what they're doing, what crazy beer they're making, and we're going to share it with you. So we're going to get in the car.
Got my coffee.
Just got coffee. My coffee's over there. We are ready. Bringing you this exclusive.
Let's hit the road.
Cool. So we are very appreciative of Angie and Damian for letting us come down today to speak to you guys. Just really briefly, do you guys want to give us like a quick elevator pitch of both of your breweries so that people know you, but in case people don't know you, who are you and what is your brewery?
My name's Andy. We're Elusive Brewing based in Finchampstead. We're a 5-barrel brewery, been going for 5 years, just celebrated our 5th birthday with some fun collabs. And we're sat here in the tap room, which is a lovely place to visit. Come and visit us. Open on Friday and Saturday.
We can vouch for that.
And we brew a bit of a range of stuff really. I guess mostly focusing on American styles, but also when I was home brewing, I used to brew a lot of Belgian stuff, so we still brew a lot of Belgian influenced beers as well. And today we're brewing a take on our Morrisman chocolate stout. So Lloyd here is the Morrisman on the can.
Indeed.
And Damian's been down before, obviously very well known for his incredible Imperial stouts. And we're kind of taking the opportunity of him coming down to brew a double version of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and my name is Damian. I run Emperor's Brewery. So I started home brewing about 20 years ago. And then 3 years ago, a friend of mine, Mark, who runs Linear Brewing, decided to turn his into a commercial brewery. And I thought, I could do that. That sounds good. So I'm probably the smallest commercial brewer in the UK. Yeah. I'm brewing on a 20-litre kit mostly. But I do a lot of collaborations. I only do Imperial Stouts and Porters. So that's basically it. It's all got a bit of a Star Wars theme, as anyone who's seen it will know. And so I do a lot of collaborations. I love collab days. You know, I love meeting people. I'm quite outgoing, so I do enjoy the collabs, and we've done quite a few this year. So this is the second one that Andy and I have done, and obviously with Tim as the Morrisman. So we did Obi-Wan Shinobi a couple of years ago. There's a poster just there. And today we're going to do a big chocolatey Morrisman. So It's all good.
Tim, do you want to tell us the background to Morrisman? You were telling us
that just now.
Yeah, sure. It all came about as an idea that Andy and I had back in, I think it was September 2018. We're over at a beer festival in Oxford called Craft Core, and I was helping out with Wild Weather, another local brewery, and Andy was pitched sort of next to us. And Andy and I just got chatting, and we're talking about sort of chocolate and beer in general, finding it quite underwhelming, more often than not always the case, but quite often. Yeah. And I said to Andy, do you fancy doing a beer where you can actually really taste chocolate in it? And that's how the idea came about. And we initially did it on Andy's test kit, which is like a firkin's worth of beer, and that went on sale in a pub in Reading called the Ale House, and within 2 hours the entire lot sold, 72 pints, bang, gone. So I said to Andy, we ought to do this again, and Andy went, well, let's scale it up to a full brew, and then we've done about 7-8 batches.
Yeah, quite a few, and there's actually a nice connection in the day that beer launched at the Ale House was when we brewed Obi-Wan Shinobi.
Yeah,
that's right. So Damian was down there to drink it.
Damian tried it, and I remember that day. Damian came up to me and said, "I could do a really good Emperor's version." I thought, you might regret you said that. And it's only taken us 2 years. Oh, don't. Well, we had it booked in. We were supposed to do it last year. Then obviously the dreaded bloody virus came about, and And, we kept putting back dates. Hey, should we look at this date? Oh, can't, bloody lockdown. So we eventually put this date in the diary, probably at the start of the year, thinking, well, fingers crossed, and well, it's happened. So finally, about 18 months late, it's finally happened.
Amazing. It's going to be amazing then. That's the universe telling you to get it at just the right
That's
point.
it.
Yeah, perfect timing. And then, so Tim, I know you help out here, like, quite a bit. How often do you kind of come down and help out with Brewday yourself?
Not as often as I would like to be honest. Every now and then. I've probably brewed about 5 or 6 times with Andy, I suppose, in total.
Yeah, we've done Morrisman 5 or 6 times.
I've brewed with other breweries. I've helped out over at Ascot, and I've done a couple of beers with Wild Weather in the past. But yeah, I've had an offer from Phantom to brew with them at some stage. So yeah, it's just a hobby for me. It's not my real job. I just do it because I love beer and I love brewing, really. So
I think we can relate.
Yeah. We can totally relate.
It's just a bit of a passion.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
How much time do you have left before this is like live?
Yeah.
Brewday, like,
No, I've got to check the kettle in 5 minutes' time.
Cool.
So,
I was like, let's do a time check.
Yeah,
So
time check.
let's do that. So I think we're both quite interested in just sort of understanding, well, you know the process of a brew day, but I'm quite interested sort of knowing the, guess from start to finish how the brew day works. Like, what time, I know you got here quite early, what time did you guys have to get here to set
So
up?
because we're double mashing today, I wanted to get in early and get the first mash done. So I got here just after 6, 6:15, and got the first mash on about 6:45. So
And we just lazily wandered in around 9 o'clock.
So these guys came. I just finished digging the first one out, and then we mashed in for a second time. So because we want our mash tun's really designed for. We can do about up to 8% on a single mash, but to get the double digits, we need to do 2 mashes. So we're basically collecting half the work from one mash, dig out, mash in again, collect the other half of the work, and then we're adding some cane molasses, and we're adding some Cedar X, which is a malt extract as well. So trying to get the gravity up. So this one's not our typical brew day, and there's not very many kettle additions, not many hops, just all about that gravity and that nice. Viscous black stuff that we want going into the FE.
Yeah,
Nice.
absolutely.
That's what I'm all about. All about the dark stuff, mate.
That's it, we just made like a video last night.
Yeah.
She made one of her TikTok videos last night, and she's like, I need to use your beer collection. And I was like, why? Then she's like, because you've got lots of like dippers and tippers. And
And I
she's
have
trying to
like
make a video where it was
zero.
like, no, I want like the impy.
Yeah.
I was like, I want the impy stouts. And then she's like, but you've got all the dippers and tippers.
Yeah.
And I was like, alright. I was like, how many do you need? She's like, 3. I was like, oh, I can do that really quickly.
That's not a problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I said we'd come down, you guys were doing an Imperial Stout, she was like, oh my god, I knew it would make her happy. So I'm assuming you quite often probably do the double mash.
Well, yes, yeah. I mean, so usually when I'm either brewing myself or I'm doing a collab, it's almost always a double mash. So it's usually pretty early starts and late finishes.
Yeah.
So I did one with the lads at Bang the Elephant a little while ago, and I think we started at 6 in the morning and we were still there at 9:30 at night. So that was quite a day.
Hopefully it won't be like that today.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I just said it about half an hour ago. It's going really smoothly.
Oh no.
Don't jinx it.
now.
But yeah, I mean, when it comes to like a collaboration, like, whose idea does it tend to be? It doesn't have to be for this collab specifically, but like when you do all your collaborations, like who comes up with the idea? How does it really work? And who gets to? How do you split up the roles and responsibilities? How do you decide sort of where to brew?
Oh, I mean, it's pretty easy for me.
Yeah.
We brew there. So.
Yeah.
It depends really. So sometimes I'll write a base recipe and the other brewer will take a look at it and make some changes, or they'll do it and send it to me and I'll make some changes. So we work out kind of roughly what it is we want to do. Is it an Imperial Stout? Is it a porter? Is it going to be lots of adjuncts? What's it going to taste like? And then really over a couple of months, it's really just knocking the recipe backwards and forwards. And deciding what we want to do on the day, and then planning the after brew day pub session. Obviously, is
That's the most important
it's
part.
fairly important as
Oh, yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But it's a good part of the brew. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that's usually probably the fun part where you get to
Absolutely.
relax a bit and go. "It's all done."
Well,
Well, it's great now, of course, because there are quite a number of breweries now who have tap rooms. So as you brew through the day, often there's people coming in and out of the tap room as well, which is always nice to meet people, and you can cool down because it is very hot.
Yes.
Cool down with a beer as you go along.
Yeah, it's really warm today, and there's the cold store. sort of right there. So there's a few trips into the cold store.
Oh, yeah.
Just standing in the cold store.
Yeah, Tim just was like, I'm going to the cold store.
I needed
Wow.
to. This fountain appeared on my head. I just needed to cool down.
Yeah, I know you've just done the Fallen Acorn collaboration as well. That's on my queue of things to try to get. But I think like with your business, it's really difficult.
Yeah,
Like this.
Simple Tricks and Nonsense, that one's called.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. I think we're going to put some in barrels as well. So there'll be a straight version and then some barrels as well. So.
As I said, is that going to be sort of what you do here? You're going to do like some in cans, some on the tap?
Yeah, I need to think about the packaging split. We'll probably do for one barrel. I think maybe rum, if we can get one.
Yeah.
And then we'll do some small key kegs and can for the bulk of it. I think it's good. You know, we want as many people to try as possible. So cans are good for that. Get them out there.
Yeah, definitely.
When it comes to the distribution side of things, like who takes the responsibility of sort of sorting out the distribution? Would it be in this instance, because we're brewing here, would you be the one that's listing
it can
on
be.
your
I mean,
website?
it might. Yeah, we do a lot of collaboration brews, and it can vary. I mean, we're always keen to, if we go somewhere else to brew, to take some of the beer to sell to our customers, because you know when you collaborate with another brewery, you're sharing ideas, you're sharing processes, you're sharing customer bases. It's like it's a nice way to collaborate. So we always like to take some beer, but it's usually the brewery that's got the beer in tank is responsible for the duty and all the distribution and everything else. So you might buy some beer off the other brewery at wholesale price to sell on, the owning brewery normally does all of the logistics and everything else.
It's a great way to learn from each other as well, isn't it? Doing collabs, because everyone's got different ways of doing things, and you know, I've always found that when I've done that with other breweries, like, oh, that's how you do that. Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I was going to say,
it's
like,
nice.
how much of an exchange of like skills do you find when you're doing a collab? Do you find that you learn things from other people, and there's like tips and tricks that you pick up along the way?
I think always, When I started, I came from a homebrewing background and didn't have much commercial brewing experience. I'd worked a little bit at other breweries, kind of volunteering, but collaborations were the way to learn and pick up ideas, definitely. And with this one, when we brewed Obi-Wan Shinobi, Damian he's got his base Imperial Stout recipe, so we kind of worked from that, and he's obviously very, very good at them, so it was good to see how he constructs the grist and what he does with the with sugar additions and things like that. So it's a learning experience for us as well, learning how to improve our Imperial Stouts and brewing that style, because we hadn't done too many of them.
Sorry.
No, sorry. Yeah, I was just going to agree with what Andy says. I think it's, it's good to see how people do things and how they build the recipes and what the differences are. And you definitely pick up different techniques and tricks and ingredients and how to use them. And it's really important. And I think that's the great thing about the collabs for me.
Yeah. Do you find that there's like, when you're doing it on a large commercial scale, there are bits that you can take from that into your smaller scale?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And different ways of using different grains and things as well, that you've maybe not used before. And I find that really interesting, and certainly the collabs that I've done, I've learned something at every single one that I've been to. It's been fantastic.
And do you get the opportunity to talk about ingredients? Like, I know, as I brewed like 5 litres, so sometimes getting those more interesting ingredients is more difficult because they're really expensive on a small scale.
Yeah.
Like, do you find that you get more of an opportunity to use something more interesting because there's that bulk ordering process?
Yeah, I mean, the amount of grains available and yeasts available to home brewers now is incredible compared to what it was 20 years ago. I mean, it's just amazing. You can basically do whatever a major brewery can do now. Pretty much, and so you've got the malt millers have come along and really started to make some fantastic grains available to the home brewers. So I think one of the things that I kind of part of the reason I started Emperor's Brewery, because I decided I could make Imperial Stouts as good as any Imperial Stouts that were available commercially on a 20-litre Braumeister when I started. So, that's why I did it, and I think it's a great opportunity for people. And we see lots of home brewers now moving into the commercial sphere, because, as I say, they can brew, they can get all those base recipes written and done before they start the commercial journey.
Well, there's been 2 recently in Reading that have opened in the last year, and they come from home brewing background, and they've decided to go commercial, so it's quite cool.
I know Crafty Cats.
Crafty Cats and Dolphin.
Crafty Cats,
Both producing great beer.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think was it Dolphin that's just upgraded their kit as well. So they're
Have they?
I think they're going through an upgrade of their kit. So they just put out their last sour for a bit while they get the new kit set up and then the new brew happening.
Oh, nice one. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
they're, again, all phenomenal. I feel like I feel like in Berkshire we're really lucky because I think some people don't realise just how many breweries are within such a small
it's a
area.
really small county, and there's a lot going on, and across a broad range of, from the traditional right to the bleeding edge craft. So
It's happened in 10 years because back in the late noughties, we had around this area we had Loddon 0 degrees in West Berks, and that was it. Now suddenly, it's loads.
Yeah.
So it's really, really great.
I just think it's hilarious. Like we did a video yesterday. We did a quick video. We were like over at Siren, and we were like, we're just gonna go over to Elusive, and it was just like just a video like we're just walking over there, and there it is. Yeah. I mean, do you have people in mind that you're like, I want to do a collaboration with them? Like, do you meet them at festivals or network with them, and then go like, you're a good person, I want to do a collab with you, or do you see the stuff that they're putting out and go, you're putting out something really creative, I want to do a collab with you? Or I mean, do you have people in mind? How do you go about figuring out who you want to collab with?
I think all of those things that you mentioned actually. Yeah, it can be a personal connection you've got, or you meet and get along well, or it's we've recently brewed with Anspatch and Hob Day, and that I approached Paul because I really like what they do with English hops. They had their Jester Pale last year, which blew me away. So I was like, all right, Paul, I really like what you do with English hops. Do you fancy working together on something? And he said, fine, but it's got to be a black IPA. So
I feel like everyone that comes to you probably 90% of the time is going to go black IPA.
Yeah, Ruthie does our sales, hates me for that. But I think, and often it can be, you admire a particular beer, or you like a particular beer style, or you just meet someone at a festival and you get along and you want to work with them. It's a range of different reasons, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Often for me, I'll drink someone's Imperial Stout and think, oh, that's fantastic. I need to find out more about these guys. There's lots of ways. Meeting at beer festivals, of course, just chatting to them about what they're doing. It is really dangerous for me to go to beer festivals, though, because I walk around the stands and people say, oh, you've got to try my Imperial Stout. So I end up spending 8 hours drinking Imperial Stout. I go, can I get that pale ale? No, you've got to try our Imperial Stout. Oh, we've got a barley wine as well that you've got. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die.
Yeah, I like the fact that sometimes you're just like, I just want something sessionable and light, and they're like, I've got just the Imperial Stout.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mere 13%.
Yeah, exactly. So I spend a lot of time there.
Some degree of it though is like people see you as the person that just churns out these like epic Imperial Stouts, and they just want to impress you. They're probably like, we need to give him like they're probably going to find the best Imperial Stout. Like Damian's going to be there, find the best Imperial Stout.
Well, I mean, when Damian said he'd love to do an Emperor's version of Morrisman, I was blown away. I was like, really? Yeah, hell yeah.
It still amazes me that anyone knows who I am, to be honest. It really does. I turn up at beer festival and people say hello and I think, how do you know who I am? I mean, I basically wear this t-shirt. That's the only people know me, but I am amazed because Emperor's is absolutely tiny. We do tiny batches. We do, we're probably more known for I keep saying we, by the way, when I talk about Emperor's Brewery, which is so weird because it's just me. So it's a bit weird.
Was it we as in like the brewery?
The brewery, yeah, exactly.
Brewery thing as well. I do it with Love Beer Learning. I'm like, we're doing this. I'm like,
we're
it's
doing
just
this.
me.
It's like, it's me.
I'm trying to be like, I am doing this.
Yeah. From the brewing team to the warehousing team, we at Emperor's Brewery really enjoy it.
We handle all your needs. But I mean, it's really funny that you say that about you're surprised people like know who you are and stuff like that. So I was like so thankful that Andy was like, I mean, you can come down if you want to. I was like, we're literally like, I consider us like in terms of the greater scale of people, so they're like nobodies. I was like, that's really like the fact that we can come down and have a conversation with you guys is so great. But when we were at Bigfoot, I was helping out Full Circle, and she came as just sort of someone that was going. So we did some bits just an attendee is the word I should use. And there were people that came up to both Jo separately as she was walking around. People that came up to the Full Circle stand as I was pouring beers and literally walked up and was like, are you Tori? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. And they were like, I listened to your podcast and I was like,
Oh.
oh my god, people listen to that. I was like, thank you. Like I didn't know what to say. Or people from Instagram come up and be like, oh, I'm friends with you on Instagram and stuff. And I was
That's
like,
really cool.
That was
That's
really
really
nice.
nice. Beer celebrities.
Yeah, well,
But it was
yeah,
weird. I was
still
like,
don't.
it was
That
weird
feels
in a
weird.
good way
Yeah.
because I was just like, it's cool because I've had
Flattering.
conversations with these people, but I just didn't expect anyone to recognise who I was at all.
Yeah.
And I think I walked up to like Gypsy Hill or something,
Yeah.
and the person that was working at Gypsy Hill was like, I recognise you from one of the forums, and I was like, hi. And then I was like, I don't know if that's good or bad. That could be really bad, but also
And it's got to
cool.
be easier when you're a brewery because you're like, yeah, we're from Elusive. We get, hello, I'm Beer Woman. Hello, I'm Quads and Quinoa. Our friend Quads and Quinoa. Like we come up and they're like, hi, I'm with our weird handle from whatever our name is. So then we're just walking around giving these weird names to everybody. It's
I think that's it.
hilarious.
It's like, I think for us it feels like
Yeah.
the imposter syndrome of like, oh, how do you know who I am?
Yeah.
Whereas like when I think about like you guys going to like a festival, I'd be like, well, yeah, of course people are going to know who you are. You're Brewery. So it's just interesting to hear you being like, I still think it's weird when people recognise me because it's like how infamous you are with like Imperial Stouts.
It's
Of course people are going to know who you are.
Yeah.
It's very odd. I've got a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, Sean Keaveney at Six Music, who was doing the afternoon shows. But we once went to a beer festival and someone came up to talk to us, and I obviously assumed it was Sean because he is famous, and came up and had a selfie with me, and Sean was roaring laughing. He just thought it was the funniest thing he'd ever seen in his life. So that was odd, you know.
So do you think, getting these collabs together, you say like beer festivals and things like that, where COVID has hit and we haven't been able to do that, has that kind of stunted how you can do your collabs, or have you found other ways to
Yeah, I
connect
mean,
with
I've done a
people?
few kind of remote collabs.
Yeah.
Did one. Well, I did one with Nerd Brewing in Sweden, and we basically just set up. He set up a camera in the brewery, and we just did a Zoom meeting,
Amazing.
and we kind of put it onto our Facebook page, and people were coming in to, you know, I was just sat in the kitchen drinking, and Hannes is running around digging out mash and things, and these people just
You
joining.
missed that bit.
Yeah.
You want to get that.
So there's people joining from all kind of Sweden and the UK coming to the Zoom meeting. I'm just chatting to them while Hannes is running around like crazy doing stuff. So that was quite fun. But yeah, I mean, mostly it's then just, you know, just working out the recipe and chatting through what you're trying to do, and you can't be on the day. But yeah, the Zoom one was really fun. It was actually really good.
Yeah, there's been a few of those I think going on. We did one with Unity. It was it was the height of COVID. Didn't want to, obviously we couldn't go down there.
Yeah.
But, just figured it out remotely. So.
That's quite a cool idea though, to think about it in terms of like you put a Facebook Live up or something video and people can drop into that, and I think like that's just a really cool idea for people to feel like they're watching it happen as well, and like get interaction with people. Because I don't know if you guys have you guys felt that there's almost a sort of celebrity status of kind of breweries now? Because I feel like because of COVID people have gone online more, they've had to get more involved in forums to have the connections with people that they used to have outside, and I feel like through that, you know, they felt they can get closer to breweries. And like I know that I didn't think that I'd ever be able to like talk to, you know, you guys, because I'd be like, oh no, they are like brew it, like I don't, how am I going to get to speak to them, sort of thing. And I feel like a lot of people have that view of like people that work at breweries are so much like you can't speak to them, and I feel like that
Definitely opened things up. I think everyone was doing online events and doing Zooms, and I remember the very first week of lockdown was Turning Point's birthday. Do you remember it? They had these birthday beers ready, and they did it all online, and it worked really well. And I think I can't really ever see that going away. The live streams, the Zooms, all that stuff that as the industry has adapted, I think it's gained brought new people into it, and it's made, as you said, made things more accessible.
Yeah.
So you know, you wouldn't often know who the brewer at this brewery is, but there he is on your YouTube, and you can watch. And
I mean, what I've always been really impressed by, obviously not being a brewer myself, is how friendly everyone is in the industry.
Yeah.
You know, what's really lovely, I've noticed many a time when I've sort of been brewing with Andy, like, oh damn, we haven't got enough hops, crikey, and he's on the phone to Double Barrel or whatever, they go, yeah, we've got some, come and get them, you know, and it's like, it's really nice how people just help each other out, and Siren obviously helped Andy a fair bit as well, and it's just lovely. I've always been very impressed by that in the industry, how generally speaking it's just a nice crowd of people.
Yeah, the community's really supportive.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And when it comes to like the recipes that you guys come up with, 'cause I know you said you kind of like you sort of have a recipe, send it back and forth, and you kind of tweak it yourself. I mean, have you ever got to a situation where like what happens if you want to do one thing, just hypothetically speaking, you want to do one thing with a recipe, you want to do another? Like, do you just kind of have to go, all right, flip a coin and we'll sort it, or?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose for me, I mean, again, this is not my job. This is just fun for me, and the way I've always looked at that, and it's happened a couple of times where I've had a kind of an idea, and the brewer's gone, oh, I don't think that'll work, or I don't want to do that, and at the end of the day, it's their brewery. They've got to be comfortable with what you're going to brew, and they're the ones that are going to put food on the table for the family. So, at the end of the day, if you state your case, and if they don't want to do that, then that's fine, but it's their brewery and they've got to be comfortable with what they're doing, I think.
Yeah. Do you then go back and go, right, I'm going to try this thing on my tiny kit? It works. I want to try that crazy thing.
I'm going to do that anyway. I'm going to do that anyway. That's happened a couple of times.
Yeah, try it out. Did they work?
Yeah.
Yeah. You were like, I was right.
I was right, yeah. If in doubt, I'm right.
The next time round, when someone's like, oh, I don't know, you're like, I tried it.
I tried it. I promise you it works. I promise you it will work. Yeah.
So what's like, for all of you guys, and Tim, you can be included in this as well.
Okay, all right.
Obviously, apart from each other, what's like if you could do the ideal next collab with anybody you wanted, like who would you want to collab with that maybe you haven't already collabed with and you want to collab again with? Counts for you helping out.
Well, I've actually got my dream collab coming up. I'm probably not allowed to say this yet, but I've told everybody. So I absolutely have always loved what Omnipollo have done with massive Imperial. I mean, all their beer is fabulous, but the massive Imperial stouts are just incredible. And my beer of the year last year was Carême. I thought it was just fabulous. So as soon as I'm able, I'm going to be going over to Omnipollo to do a collab at the church. And I cannot wait.
That's one of my dreams.
Yeah. So I think me and a lot of my mates are just going to take a week off and spend a week over there. Drinking at Omnipollo's hat and at the church. So no, I absolutely love it. And as I say, I know Magnus, the sales director in Hennock and things. They do a beer called Lorelei. They do a barrel-aged beer called Lorelei. And they only made 12 kegs of barrel-aged Lorelei because everything's closed down. And I managed to buy... the only person who's bought one is me. So they've got 11 kegs of barrel-aged Lorelei at Omnipollo and one in my house.
Do you just want to, like, when you have something like that, do you just want to be like, oh... hey everybody, like take like videos, like hey everybody, I'm just gonna get some barrel-aged Lorelei. Did you not see this?
Yeah, I've got me and a lot of my friends turn 50 next year, so we're gonna have a big party and we're gonna drink the barrel-aged Lorelei.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
That church is like, I watched when they did the stream of sort of it coming together and everything, and I was like, even if you don't like Omnipollo, if that's not your cup of tea, you have to appreciate the art that's gone behind that brewery. I was like, that's what I keep telling my husband, like, oh, we should go to him. He's like, why do you want to go there? And I was like, I'd quite like to go to a brewery. And he's like, can we go on holiday anywhere when it doesn't have to do with a brewery? I'm like,
really.
Things there.
Always a brewery somewhere.
There's always a brewery somewhere.
That's my first check when you go on holidays. Like, okay, what's the closest brewery can we go to? Great.
Yeah.
But you, Andy, who's your dream?
We're boiling now, by the way. Sorry for running off. I've always
live action.
Yeah.
one brewer I've always admired is Firestone Walker, and I've always kind of, hoped one day we could do something there. That would be so cool. But we did a couple of years ago. We pulled at the Beavertown Extravaganza, and because of the alphabet, we were alongside them. So I got to meet Matt Brunelson, who's a head brewer. They're a really nice guy. Like anyone you meet in this industry, most people are kind of humble and easy to talk to, and he doesn't see himself as some kind of rock star brewer, just kind of a guy who brews beer. And had a nice chat with him. I didn't pluck up the courage to pitch a collab to him, but I've always admired anything that, like, there's a lot of breweries. I look at breweries like Thornbridge, where you buy a Thornbridge beer and if it says it's X style on the can, you're going to get exactly that style, and they just nail styles really, really well, and they're very precise in what they do. And Faster and Walker, that's why I like them. It's like, every beer you have from them is going to be really, really good, and it's going to do exactly what they set out to do. So, a very technically, perfect brewery for me. So,
Amazing.
I think for me, it'd be Vault City. I just think they're absolutely incredible. I've only discovered them about a year ago, but I haven't had a beer by them that I haven't enjoyed. They keep producing fantastic beer, and I'd love to do a beer with them. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, we just did. She managed to get us tie-dye kits for the birthday.
Oh
tie-dye
yeah,
kits
so
and
advertising those. Yeah.
Last
Yeah.
night we got our t-shirts.
I thought I got the pie bug, but I was like, oh no, that's just pink dye. Last night, because I didn't put the gloves on to get the dye ready, and then I was like, I was meant to put gloves on, wasn't I?
And I'm like, yes.
So
Did you not put your gloves on? No.
I've hung up our shirts to sort of dry this morning, and I had to put a towel under because it's dripping. So if my husband comes home from the stag do, he's out and sees that there's like tie-dye bits all over the floor, it's good.
Yeah.
Like, clean that up real quick. But yeah.
Her house, not my house.
Yeah, so when travel gets a bit easier, I plan on heading up to Scotland to go to their brewery. Yeah, check it out.
My problem with collabs is I don't say no. So I've got about 35 collabs in the pipeline at the moment, just I can't say no to people. So it just takes a long
What's your
time.
calendar like though?
Yeah.
Are you just
Pretty
like,
bad.
well, this weekend I'm here, then the weekend after, like when you
Yeah,
try
a
to
little
find
bit.
time to do stuff that's not brewing, are you just like, where am I going to squeeze it in?
Yeah,
Just
a
like,
little
no.
bit. Yeah. So there's been quite obviously Botilliers. You were in the. So I know Drew and pretty well.
Yeah.
Legend.
We did a remote collab earlier in the year that'll be coming out soon, and the guys at Three Hills that got the new place down in Bermondsey, we did a collab there as well.
Yeah,
So
We went to the
we
Outpost.
did a collab.
We.
I did a collab.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we just went to the Outpost
Yeah.
like a few weeks back, and I had
second day they
the
were open,
the nitro donut stout, and it was like it was 10%. I was like, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's so easy drinking.
make some great
it's great.
stouts.
It really does.
Yeah, I guess my other question as well is like in terms of so breweries out of the way, collab wise, if you could just brew what's the most weird and interesting beer that you want to try making, like adjunct wise, flavour, anything? What's the weirdest beer that each of you want to make? If it doesn't matter about like sales on it, like who's gonna you're making it for you. Like what is the weirdest one that you want to make? I'm expecting big things because you said on the Polos who you want to collab with. So
Yeah, to be honest with you, on Apollo, I might pitch it to Hen up that we just do a straight Russian Imperial Stout with no adjuncts and see what he thinks. That'd be hilarious.
that would blow people's minds.
Exactly.
Like,
So like with just like a one-word name, with
Yeah.
one 2-word description or something. No emojis.
You could just call it like
Talking about what?
why can't beer taste like beer? You can call it, and then just make it a plain, just really plain.
Yeah, exactly.
I think everyone would be confused. They'd be like, is this a prank? What is happening?
It's going
What
to
is
taste
happening?
like bacon, right?
What is
And I
happening?
it.
Yeah.
Oh, look.
I don't know. I
For
can't think
me,
of
Like,
like, there's some beers that I want to make
Yeah.
that maybe aren't that wacky, but I've always wanted to. We did a little pilot brew a few years ago of our Lord Nelson, which is our Nelson Serving Up Saison, but we
Delicious.
pitched some Brett strains into it. And on Friday we were judging a homebrew competition down at the Malt Miller, and Reiki, who we brewed that with, has kept some bottles of it, and it was tasting great. And I'd love to get that in some white wine barrels. So
Yes.
like that's a little project that I think I'll start working on at some point soon. So not that wild and wacky.
It doesn't
No,
have to be wild and wacky, but it's just
something that
if you had free reign
Yeah.
and that's what you want to do, no, that is
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant. I think we did. I've had Lord Nelson before, but we did it for the local episode.
Yeah, we
didn't
did.
we?
Yeah.
We both drank that. It's
Yeah, it's a good game. Sorry. I love a saison though. They're my favourites.
they're hard to sell.
I know. Yeah.
So-
I always think it's
do.
like, when I was working at Big Foot and people came up, we had the peach and apricot saison one, and then I was like, oh, is it saison? They're like, nah, I don't get on with saisons. And the amount of people that said, nah, I don't get on with saisons,
Yeah.
like, I didn't realise just how difficult of a sell it is.
Yeah.
I'd kind of like to try some. One of the things I really want to do a bit more experimentation with is yeast actually, and fermenting a big black, stout base with some different yeasts. Saison yeast, Brett, Kvike yeast. There's some really interesting kind of yeasts out there these days, and maybe combinations of those as well. So actually combining different yeasts to see what would happen. I mean, it could be terrible, but it could be quite fun.
won't know unless you try.
Well, there you go. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
If you could help out making anything, like you get to design what it is and then you get to do it.
See, I love smoked beer. I really do. And I'd love to make a really lovely sort of German style house beer. I'd love to do that. That would probably be my dream one. But if it, expense didn't matter, whatever. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
We just had the Braybrook barbecue house, and that was just like that was gorgeous.
I'm going to make her do a smoked beer episode with me, so I'm like, right,
Oh,
here
nice.
Yeah, she's like, I bought you
So I
that.
was like, here's the Schlenkeller smoked Marzen. We're going to start with that one because that's the one. She's like, that's one that tastes like bacon. I'm like, yep.
Arbor did one a few years ago called Smoke Screen, and that was like a really, really smoky beer, and it was gorgeous. For some people, it was just too much. The smoke was too intense, but I loved it.
I think if you're talking about smoked beers in the UK, you've got to talk about Torside, because those guys at Torside have done some absolutely fabulous stuff.
I haven't had a great deal by them, in fairness, but I did.
Wonderful beers.
Yeah, some great ones.
Yeah, they do some great beers.
Yeah.
I had Up and Smoke, the Brew York Up and Smoke, and that was probably one of the first proper smoked beers, because I always kind of stayed away from it because I don't know if I like it. I had that, and I was surprised how much I really liked it, because there was like that mesquite sweetness to it as well, so it wasn't just straight smoke. And I was like, actually it's quite nice, and it just opened up my mind to like, okay, maybe I'll revisit those and have some more, and then like the barbecue hells and stuff, so yeah, it's quite...
I did. I once did a homebrew that was a bonfire night beer, which was kind of smoked malts, treacle, honeycomb and marshmallow, toasted marshmallows in it, and that was quite an interesting, because it was that sweetness but with that kind of underlying kind of smoke to it as well.
That sounds amazing. I'm like drooling, I'm like, where is it? Why didn't you sell this?
How did we miss that one?
Any other questions that you had?
I think you've answered everything I wanted to say, actually. How did you get the marshmallow into that beer? Was it extract or actual marshmallows?
It was actual marshmallows, so I literally laid them out in a tray, got one of those little creme brulee torches and toasted them, and then started throwing them in the kettle. But they float, of course, but then they don't melt, they liquefy, and they liquefy and start burning on the elements. So you got to be quite careful with it. But it was
Bottom of your thing is just coated in
Scouring pad,
That's what we're trying to avoid today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's always
Sedex,
it's always a problem. But yeah, I literally had to take the whole thing apart and take the element out and clean it and then put it all back together again. So.
Things we do for beers. So we did a jam. I brewed a jam donut.
We did it.
You did it like virtually looking at it on the camera. And I put actual donuts in it. And that just, I was like, right, hang on, I'm going to have to dry these out. So you've got bits of donut laid out in your oven, drying those out. And I'm like, no, there's still too much moisture in that, keep it going.
Then it crumbled.
Everywhere, and I was like, don't want too much, I'm going to get stuck mash. The things we do for home brewing, for brewing in general.
Love of brewing.
We haven't drunk that yet, we need to drink it.
Got to drink that.
I'm pretty sure there's going to be no head on it. I think the oil from the donuts has completely stripped it out. But
well do.
I mean, I chucked a load of raspberries in it as well, so that it's jam donuts, so we'll see what it is.
Sounds nice.
Does sound good, yeah, sounds great.
Yeah.
We did the Northern Monk one that I did recently was kind of our take on a croissant, a banana croissant, Go Bananas, from St. Croissant in Manchester. Actually got a can of that with me, so we can try that if you've not tried
I was going to say, I really wanted to try it. And
there we go,
it
so you
sold
can
out
try it.
before I could buy it, and I was like,
Same as. That's often happened with Damian's beers.
That's the problem is, trying to get this one, and I'm like, it's going to sell out, isn't it?
Well, there was quite a lot of the Brew York, the Brew York and the Northern Monk ones. There was like 50 hectolitres of it, so there was quite a lot of it knocking around, but it did go quite quickly.
It went quite quick. I'm going to have to be like queuing out here, like the second you guys open it, it's released. I'm going to be like, sorry, I've got to like go take lunch early, and I'm going to be like outside the brewery.
Well, we're going to do actually, is it worth mentioning about that, the release day?
Oh yeah.
For this day, should we mention that? Well, we're going to, when we're going to release this in the pub in Reading, it's going to be like a launch day for it, so we haven't decided on the date or anything yet.
Yeah.
That will be the plan.
I've got that.
Yeah, I guess. last thing. Is there anything each of you want to plug? Events, social medias, anything you want people to know about?
Yeah.
Other than just coming and trying new stuff.
I've got a YouTube channel called Tim's Beer Reviews.
Yes.
Actually, having a laugh at my expense. And
But you said you haven't done it in a while, so now you're going to have to. So that's
it's been a month or so since I've done one. So yeah.
Now you're going to have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll put that in
If
show.
you want to hear me jabber on about beer, then there you go.
Anything to plug? Oh, we've got an Etsy shop for the Emperor's merchandise where you can buy T-shirts and glasses, and my lovely wife Helen runs that. She's bought all kinds of things for the shop, so you can check it out.
Yes. I'm going to put it in the show notes.
And I'm going to have to, because my husband loves like Star Wars, so he's going to try to like take. I'll buy it and he'll be like, oh, what's this?
Yeah, got 2 of them.
Hands off.
Yeah.
The backpacks look amazing. By the way.
Yeah,
To show people, I want one of
backpacks.
those.
And hoodies and bar blades. She's gone over the top, really, but it's all there.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
Guitar picks. I mean, I don't even know.
Does she do like dog collars? Because my struggle is I need a dog collar and for my dog, obviously not for me. Let me
Where are we going with this?
Because I'm trying to replace the one she has at the moment, and no breweries do them. And I'm like, Vault City do sunglasses.
Yeah, they do.
They don't do dog collars.
Yeah, we don't do dog, and we do
Some
have
people
2
that
little
market.
dogs. We've got 2 little miniature Dachshunds called Colin and Daisy, so maybe I should get it to
There you go. Call
think
the
of dog
market on
collars.
dog collars. So
Yeah.
I'll definitely buy that.
Yeah.
Any like social media or anything you want people to follow?
Yeah, well, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook and the other one, Twitter, certainly. But it's just generally me wandering around doing collabs and going with a beer
And the whiskey and works.
and a whiskey and works.
Yeah.
We're famous for the whiskey and works.
That's a good call. Andy, what about you? Anything you want
I'll mention our socials, Elusive Brew on most things, and we're pouring at a festival next month, Anne Smash Days Festival in August. It's something farm. I need to be more on the ball with this. It's in Croydon. Go to Croydon
And ask for something farm.
and
Something
Google the
farm.
beer festival. But,
Farming Croydon.
yeah, looking forward to that because it's been I haven't done too many of those this year. So the first one we poured beer out for a long time.
Perhaps Brew, we'll find it, we'll put it in the show notes, we'll link back to all you guys.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
don't worry. But thank you again for letting us come down, really appreciate
It's
it.
nice to meet you both.
Nice.
As long as you meet you in person, I've definitely seen
Indeed,
you
yeah,
online.
absolutely, yeah.
I said I saw Tim and I was just like, I think that's Tim, but I'm not sure. I can't say anything because then if it's not, then I look like I'm weird. So. But yeah. Brilliant.
Hello.
With that, we'll let you guys get back. We don't want to be in the way anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Right, we are cutting into our feed there because we have managed to get
It's top
early
secret.
release, top secret, not even labeled.
But yeah,
cans.
the Andy was really lovely because he let me grab some from him slightly early for us to try in advance. Because obviously, when this episode's airing, this hasn't actually come out yet. It will be officially launched at the Ale House in Reading. Basically, we've got this in advance because it's not actually come out yet. It's formally being released the end of this week.
10th of September, it's being
So this is
released.
coming out the end of this week, Friday, dating it. Joe's going to hate this because I'm going to date it.
No.
10th of September.
Yep.
It's coming out, the Ale House, Reading. If you are there, definitely go. If you're close by, close commute, get the train in, whatever, go.
Get some on keg.
It's probably going to be really great. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously I haven't opened it yet, but I imagine it's going to be great. It's going to be a great event. And I think Tim's going to be there. I imagine Andy's going to be there. Don't know if Damian's going to be there. Not positive if he's coming down for that or not. But yeah, it's definitely an event not to be missed if you are in the area, not to miss it. But thank you so much obviously we've said thank you so many times, and thank you so much for the guys again for letting us record with them, and thank you for Andy for letting me grab these from you early for us to try, because it's brilliant. Basically, I've also got to show you with the original, because these were done so close to the line of us releasing this and them going out. The labels weren't done, which is why this is top secret unlabeled cans. It was great picking it up and having other people around me, and they were like, you need to get those cans, and I was like, yes, there's top secret
That's
cans.
amazing.
But this is basically the original that was mentioned. It's really difficult to see the light.
This is what the label's going to look like. If you're on video, This is what the label look like. So it is like an.
And I'm holding what
8-bit.
it does look like.
So the label's going to look like an 8-bit stormtrooper doing a bit of a Morris dance.
And it's modelled basically after
Yeah.
the original label. So this is the Imperial Morrisman. It's made for their normal Morrisman double chocolate dry stout, as Tim has explained to us in the episode.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I couldn't get one for Joe because I've had this one. I've had this one stashed away because they were featured on Sunday Brunch. It was called.
Yeah, and everyone went mad.
Yeah, Sunday Brunch. They were featured alongside Seven Brothers and Siren.
Mark Dredge picked it, and then everybody went mad for it
because they really enjoyed it.
But that's great. That's great for the breweries.
But Jo obviously couldn't get it
one
by the time that she got here. But they brew it quite regularly. So as soon as I can get another one for Jo, I'll get another one for Jo. And I'm going to keep this aside so that assuming I can get one of these Emperor ones again, I will do a side-by-side of it because I just think it'll be interesting to see how you go from one to the other. So without further ado, let's crack it.
I'm excited.
I'm really excited as well. You've got your Emperor's glass.
I've got my Emperor's glass.
I thought I'd rep Elusive. You'd rep Emperor's.
Kindly gifted to us by Damian.
Yes, I've got my Emperor's glass, but I thought I would even the playing field and I'd represent the other side.
Oh,
it already smells really chocolate, and I'm not gonna lie. It probably this needs to warm up a little bit because I had it in the fridge.
I've only just got mine out of my fridge. It could probably do with
but it smells really nice.
Chocolate. I'm getting vanilla.
Yeah, I'm getting some like a light bit of roastiness, like nothing really overwhelming, nothing like really heavy in the roasty sense.
It just smells like liquid chocolate.
Yeah, but the vanilla does come through, which is quite nice. Because normally I think when you've got chocolate, it can kind of, again, I think I've mentioned on numerous occasions, vanilla can get very muted, and especially when you've got big chocolate flavors and big chocolate smells.
There's definitely a bit of roastiness in there. Getting it cacao.
It's very like I feel like it doesn't immediately hit as boozy, but when you take like a really long sniff in, it has that like
you get a little bit of that like fusel alcohol right at the end.
Yeah, but it's just kind of like that undertone. It's not something that's like there's some that you smell and you just go oof like right away. It's not like that. It's just because I took in like a really big smell.
Right, I'm going in.
Oh, I almost get a bit of maple in that one. That's quite nice.
Oh, that is smooth.
It's really smooth. I honestly, admittedly, I don't know what the ABV is on this.
No, we don't know what the ABV is.
Literally no idea what the ABV is.
It's obviously, just chocolate.
So this original is 5%. So obviously this is the Imperial version.
I think they were aiming for about 12%. But I don't know if that's what it finally came out as. But it's just smooth, roasty chocolate.
If it's ended up as double digits, which I know Damian's often do, I would be shocked because it doesn't taste.
No, it does not.
It does not taste double digits in ABV. It's really smooth, really easy drinking, and it's like a chocolatey milk. Like
so like we had the conversation in the interview about how you get these chocolate beers and they smell so chocolatey, and then when you taste it, it's not. You don't get the chocolate in there. The chocolate is in there.
Yeah,
like this is like.
The aftertaste is very like it does taste like chocolate powder. Yeah, like it almost has that bit of like I don't know how to put it into words. I don't want to say chalky because I think that probably comes across in a negative way, which is not what I mean. But it's like when you taste something that's
it's like really good cocoa powder.
Yeah,
like the good
like
stuff.
When you have
we're talking like green and blacks here. We're not talking Bourneville. We're not talking like hot chocolate powder. We're talking like really good green and blacks cocoa.
The thing that pops into my mind is like when you have bonbons, not the right word for it. I'm trying to think. I can't think of what the word is, but the chocolate, and you can get them in Belgium, and the
like chocolate truffles.
Truffles, yeah. Yes, that's the word. It's like a truffle, but you know when it's like a truffle rolled in cocoa powder, and that's what I mean by that, like cocoa,
like high quality cocoa powder.
Yeah, that's exactly what it tastes like. Is a really nice truffle that's been rolled in like a really nice cocoa powder.
And though there's booziness there, like it's not at the forefront. Like it's like a real mellow in the back there.
It's not like you take a sip of it and go like, wow,
Ooh,
that
alcohol.
is like,
Yeah,
oh,
no.
that's a burn. It's not difficult to drink at all. It's not, yeah.
This is a really
I
nice.
reckon, like, if this is a 10 or 11%, 12%, like, I will be watching you drink that.
I'm loving it. Like I'm cupping my Emperor's brandy glass in my hands and just like supping on it. It's really beautiful.
That is just
Makes
like
me really happy.
a thing of like worship is what it looks like you're doing. It looks like you're making like some type of
It's so lovely.
sacrifice.
I'm just offering this up to the gods because it is so good.
Yeah, that's if I had to describe it in, I don't know, a handful of words, but just one sentence, like if you could only compare it to one thing, for me it would be a high quality truffle.
Yeah. Like really good dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate truffle.
Yeah.
Or hot chocolate. Yeah, I can see that as well, because there
like
is that
with a bit of booze in it.
I guess
but
it's like when you put,
it's only
you make a hot
touch.
chocolate and you put like, I wouldn't even say rum because I feel like rum would ruin it, but like Baileys, yeah, like a bit of like
just you only want to touch.
Baileys.
Yeah, you only want to touch, and it's just the alcohol warmth is right at the back of your throat after you've swallowed. There is a touch of warmth that's just nice. Like it's not an alcohol burn. It's just that warmth that reminds you that there's alcohol there right at the back.
It's a boozy warmth. It's not an alcohol burn.
Yeah.
And it's not, and I think it's not even like probably the first 2-3 sips. It doesn't even hit you. It's probably about sip 3 or 4. You start going, oh, okay, yeah, there's a bit of warmth behind
it's
that.
Dangerous is what it is.
Oh yeah. I unfortunately I can't be there for the release. I was planning on going, but I can't. I've got prior engagements, so I'm not going to be able to make it down there. But I really wanted to have this. I don't know if they're putting it on cask or keg. I think it's cask. I imagine it's probably cask. Yeah. But I would love to be there to have that fresh off a line, because I feel like
that's going to be
feel
nice
like this would be
off the line.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see, because I'm going to keep sipping on this after we stop, because I kind of can't wait to see how this is going to, as it warms up, is the booziness going to grow on it? Is the chocolatiness going to grow on it? This is perfect at the temperature it's at now.
Yeah, everything's really well balanced. Like there's nothing that's particularly overpowering anything else.
No, I was expecting, because of the fact that when we kind of agreed, yeah, okay, we've got some time now to record it, because to be transparent, this weekend, not a great weekend to try to get things done for both of us. We are both out and about, so we needed to try to fit this in.
Yeah, and
we happen to have a slot when it's quite late at night, and I was like, oh, okay, I've only got about 20 minutes before we're going to record, 20-30 minutes, take it out of the fridge, and I thought hopefully it warms up a little bit. I felt the can, I was like, the can is still quite cold. So if I'm completely honest, I was a bit worried, like, oh, is it going to be warm enough to really get the full flavors, or is it going to be a little bit more muted until it warms up? But I think it is genuinely lovely.
Yeah, it's beautiful. But do we expect anything less from Damian and Elusive? No, we don't.
No, I think Andy's, like, I've had Andy's Morrisman before. And Tim, I should include Tim on that as well, because it's really Tim and Andy's baby, isn't it?
It's based on Tim.
I've had it before. It's been gorgeous every time I've had it in the past.
Yeah.
So why would this be any different? It wouldn't. But it is just, I was kind of wondering, like, oh, is it going to be really boozy, really like full on alcohol? And it's just really pleasant. But you can tell it's very like high. It tastes high quality. Like it doesn't taste like, I wouldn't have expected it any other way, but it you can tell that it's quality ingredients going into it.
Yeah.
And you never would have guessed that it was like I feel like I couldn't just imagine 3 dudes just doing this to get like the quality of this.
That's the beauty of beer, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is literally just like a couple of people chucking things in a big pot.
It's the stuff
That's
know.
essentially what brewing is. Chucking stuff in a big pot with a bit of water, see what happens.
It's the stuff that you know, but I think it's that thing, like, if you've been down to Elusive and you see just how small it, like, it isn't, it's not this big sprawling space that some of these other breweries
it's like
that
a
push
couple
out
of
big MPs have.
It's a couple of very big pots. Like, so when I brew in my kitchen, I use a couple of pots on my stove. Essentially, the brew kit of a smaller scale brewery is 2 really big pots with, with the boil a little bit easier because you can make it bigger. But that's all brewing is. And I think this is the thing about beer, is it can be very simple. You just have got to put the right ingredients in and the right time and the right temperatures, and you can get an amazing product just like this out of it.
But it just, I think it's that thing that even though you know it, it always kind of blows your mind, because it's like, even the whole time we were talking to Damian, and he was going, oh, why do I say we? It's just me. And I was just like, I still cannot believe that there's just one of you. And even at Elusive, Andy has helped, but
he home brews at home. And the whole reason that he's doing what he does is because he realized he could brew Imperial stouts just as well as the commercial brewers could. This is a testament to that, because it's absolutely beautiful. And I've had beers from much bigger breweries than this that are not as good.
Honestly, it's funny to think about it. Because I said, even though Andy has help, it's not like he's got a whole crew of people helping. And it's not like he's got this massive estate. And it's just to see these people that are just such so small batch
brewing
coming
is
and
science.
making something amazing. It's just it's the truth.
But brewing is science, brewing is art, and it's all about the people that are controlling what's going into that pot, however big the pot may be. And if you
both perfected it
right, and if you've perfected what's going into that pot, you can make an amazing beer. It's that simple. Like, you can do it in your kitchen.
I don't, like I said, I mean, you've already said it, I've already said it, like, I wouldn't expect anything less from those guys, because they're great at what they do. Like, there's a reason Andy came from home brewing, and won in order to be able to, like, he won all this money to be able to open and stay open, and he's been able to stay open, thankfully. Touch wood, he's been able to stay open through the pandemic. Damian's been hearing all the collaborations he's got,
35 collaborations in his diary. His diary is busier than ours is.
It's just, honestly, it's absolutely crazy just to
I love it. And I love
to see what these guys are doing. And
what's so amazing about craft beer is that you can go from a couple of pots on your stove to full scale commercial brewery selling to everybody. Like, that's what can happen if that's what you want. And like, go for it. Just go for it. If you want to make amazing beer for other people, just do it, because these people are, and they're making amazing beer.
Yes, definitely agreed. I guess what I'll say is, may the odds be ever in your favour that you get one, because that will be what it is, isn't it? It will be luck of the draw. Yeah, I'm hoping that having the home field advantage of being able to drive down there means that I can, like, literally be like, boom, there. But I've got a feeling that the online people will probably beat me, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, very excited to buy more of this, because it's really good. I think everyone will be very impressed. I can't wait to see what people think about it.
So we're going to cut now to us in Tori's garden. See what we had to say at the end of that brew day.
Oh, and we're back.
We're back.
That was amazing.
Oh my god. We are buzzing.
Yeah,
thank you
so much, Andy. Thank you so much, Damian. Thank you, Tim, for being a part of it as well.
It was great to have Tim as well.
Yeah, it was really great to get that perspective of somebody like helping out as well. Yeah. Somebody who that's not their like normal 9 to 5 job. Phelan's coming over, so she might make it in the video.
Hello.
Please don't knock things over, Phelan. Please don't be a dick. Okay. Here, come up here. You can be in as well.
There we go. Look, there's Phelan.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. Yeah. It was such a cool experience, and thank you, Damian, for the glassware. That was brilliant. We got some glassware, and I can't wait to get him to get dog collars on his
Yes.
store, so
he
Phelan
needs
can
two
get
dog
a new. Phelan needs a nice new dog collar. But yeah, such an amazing experience just to get the sort of behind the scenes, I think, of what a collaboration brew day is like.
Yeah, what a collaboration brew day is like, what it's like to do a collaboration, what it's like to do a collaboration during a global pandemic, and how we've all had to pivot a little bit. That was amazing.
Yeah, so look out for the beer. If it's not already out,
Yep.
we'll either be putting it out sort of right before it comes out or right after it comes out. I mean, Emperor's tends to go quite quick, and I think Elusive needs to get. I think more people should be buying Elusive. If you don't know what Elusive is or where it is, you definitely need to check that out as well, because Andy makes some amazing beers, and he's such a lovely guy, and Damian's a lovely guy.
Yes. And I'm going to need you to go and like get in that queue.
I'm going to have to wait in the queue to get
beer.
it, because I know what's going to happen is it's going to sell out. So and Morrisman was such an amazing
I didn't get Morrisman
stout in general. So
sad.
yeah, I'll try to pick you up one of those if they end up having one of those out as well. So see what I can do, no promises, but yeah.
So if people want to speak to you about why they should buy Elusive and why they're so amazing, where can they find you?
If you want to talk to me about Elusive, big stouty boys or anything like that, you can find me on Instagram at adventures_in_hoptimism. If they want to talk to you about stouts, because we know that you're the stout connoisseur.
Those are my faves.
Where can they find you?
You can find me at A Woman's Brew. That's on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. I mostly hang out on Instagram. And you can find my beer school if you would like to learn more about different beer styles, if you're not sure about different stouts and what makes an imperial stout an imperial stout. We talk about that in Love Beer Learning. So come over and find us. We are Love Beer Learning on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok and Pinterest, which is Tori's favourite.
And Phelan, if people want to find you,
Yeah, where can they find you?
Where can they find you? In the garden, being a potato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can find my website, which is lovebeerlearning.co.uk. Or you can email us, both of us, at lovebeerlearning@gmail.com. We will pick up the emails for the podcast there. Let us know what you want to hear about. Let us know who you want us to track down and do crazy podcasts with next.
For God's sake, shout out to John from Ascot Brewing, because he rocked up, and we got to meet him, and he's really nice as well. So hopefully we can do something with him in future. He's got Ascot Brewing's got a lovely tap room and with nice pizzas over in Camberley. So shout out to him on that, and hopefully we can collaborate there. Let us know what other collaborations you want to see, and we'll try to get it arranged.
So until then.
Cheers.